right, aloha and MF Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry effing Christmas. Meli Kaliki Maka. Meli effing Kaliki Maka.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, man. I can't remember exactly when this is coming out. Is this coming out right after or right before?
Before.
Right before.
It'll be the Friday before.
Yep. Meli effing Kaliki Maka.
So it's Christmas Eve.
Yeah, Christmas
Yes.
Eve. Perfect
Yes.
time to listen to a podcast like this about habituals, habits.
About creating habits. Yeah.
Yes. Now, just a reminder, kid, we got Jackson,
Me.
MF Campbell,
Yep.
with us,
Here I am.
and you are here.
I'm here.
You're still not nestled in that corner like
I
you should
am.
be, though, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, we're in a different setup. Once again, we had a little bit of there's a power outage here in Maui, and
We were
just
affected.
really at our office. Really, just
Yeah,
it's the power
yeah.
out of our office. So we are working at
Marriott, which
Marriott, which doesn't suck. Okay.
no, it's not that bad.
So a different setup, but today we're going to talk about habits. And listen, habits, you control your habits, you will control your destiny, man.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about habits today, bro. Anything else as we start up on this beat?
No, just a quick reminder to everybody, if we've got some new listeners, just want to remind y'all to tune in daily. There's not very many podcasts at this level that drop episodes daily. Monday through Thursday, we have Dallas Pruitt, who drops his daily drips, mindset drips, to help you get your day going. It's an essential part of my morning. I know it's an essential part of your morning as well.
Yes.
It's an incredible daily drips. Again, Monday through Thursday, tune into those. Friday, I get to sit down with Tyler Devereaux, interview him on a mindset principle, what's going on in the company. Sometimes we dive into real estate. It's always going to be good.
Yeah.
Those Friday episodes.
Fact.
Sometimes it's not me. Sometimes Ty gets on with a student from the Multifamily Mindset that's been through our education courses and has some success. Also, he jumps on with high-level individuals.
Jackson.
We've got some, like me.
And others.
Yeah, we've got some really good ones coming down the pipeline. The past one, we've got you just were on with James. We've had Zasha. So we've got some more really exciting guests coming down.
Our students are high level too. It's
Absolutely,
like, man, that's,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's dive in here, dude. It's that time of year again. It happens where people set their goals. They start off really hot, and then they obviously fizzle out towards the end. So today I want to talk about how to stick to your habits that you want to create towards these goals.
Dude, I love it, man, because the goal is awesome, right? And there's a lot of people, maybe you're one of them, who you're pretty decent at setting this long-term goal, but most people are horrible at actually achieving those goals or exceeding those goals, and it really comes down to, really their habits. And so the question, or like the focus that I want to take on today's episode is like, how do you cement those habits? But even deeper than that, on an initial standpoint, like, how do you create them? How do you get them momentum, right? Like, we all have habits in our lives that create momentum, good or bad.
Yeah.
What's the science behind them? Okay, and I'll tell you that there was a gentleman that I met out surfing here in Maui, who wrote a book called Tiny Habits. And there's a lot of books on habits, but this Tiny Habit book is phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. There's Atomic Habits. This is another great one.
Great one.
There's a number of great books, but this Tiny Habits one, if you guys haven't read that one, a lot of people have heard of Atomic Habits, Tiny Habits. A lot of people have not heard of that book. Well, a lot of people have, but if you haven't heard of it,
now you have.
You should go read it. But let's talk about this, Kate, because maybe you've set your yearly goal, maybe you've set, that intention, but even there, I want to, before we even get in the habits, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I believe we need to break it down and get really clear on what does your goal look like.
I love that.
Okay.
It's all got to start from there. No, so let's back it up. Let's start there.
What should a goal look like? Or maybe I'll even ask you, what do you think that most goals look like? These yearly goals people set, what do you think
They're
most?
very vague. Very vague. Not specific whatsoever.
That's it, dude. And how do you know that?
Because I used to do that.
Me too. I mean, if you're even setting an abstract goal, great job.
Yeah.
That alone will set you apart.
Yeah.
But most of us don't know how to do that, and it's a learned skill, right? I also we talk to people all the time about their goals, man, about what they're working on, what are those goals, and we like to know what people's goals are. Every time somebody comes into the office in Maui, what do we have up on the screen?
Their name.
And
Their goals.
Their goals.
Their why.
What are you working on? And most of the time, they're pretty abstract. So listen, write these two things down. You're going to want a pen and paper, by the way, or a phone or whatever you take notes on. But there's a difference between a goal. Okay, we have
real quick before you dive in. I just want to get something out and write this down. If you understand how to set goals and how to break down goals, I'm excited for you to go over this because it's life changing.
It is.
And I know there's times where I throw out these big life changing things, but this is truly one of those things that has changed my life. If you can understand how to practically and actually set goals that you can hold yourself accountable to know if you hit, it'll change your life. It'll change how you live your life. It'll change how you go about your day to day, and obviously push you more towards what you're trying to accomplish. I just want to write this stuff down because it really is super impactful.
It is, man. And so let's start with the most basic things, okay? As you're defining that goal, there's two things you need to be aware of, okay? The difference between an aspiration and the actual outcome. Like an aspiration is what Jackson's talking about. It's more abstract, right? It's like what you need to really understand and listen, having an aspiration is a great starter, right? What do you want, right? What is your dream? Like, for example, people will tell me financial security, or I was sitting down with somebody actually yesterday, and it was like, I want to be able to have enough income to provide for my family. And it's like, well, what does that mean? Yeah. What does that mean? That's so abstract. Okay, now you need to take that abstract starter and you need to turn it into the actual outcome that you're looking to receive. What's the actual result that you want to achieve? The actual measurable result that you can achieve. You need to define that side, right? So instead of financial security, instead of financial security, well, define what that means. Maybe it's $5,000 a month in passive income. Maybe it's having $1 million liquid. Maybe I don't know what financial security means to you. I have no idea. You might not even have any idea, which is the whole reason you need to really define what that measurable outcome is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense to me. We've talked about this a lot, but I want to make sure that it makes sense to everybody else too. But I think it does. You have to get specific.
Yes.
One of the things that's helped me understand that is you have to put some sort of metric. You have to tie some sort, like you're saying, you have to have some sort of number or metric that you know whether you hit it or you missed it.
That's exactly it.
Right.
So after you get done setting your goals, and you can set goals, you can list out a bunch of things, but you should have 3 primary targets that you're looking to achieve, okay? But when you get done, a better question to ask yourself as you get to those is, how do I know when this is achieved? How do I know when this is achieved? And if that goal doesn't exactly tell you how you know if it's been achieved, you need to get more granular. You need to get more specific. Mm-hmm. So ask better questions as you're going throughout, and do not settle there, man, because really what you want here is you want the ability, listen to me, you want the ability to look back and be like, I achieved that, or the ability to be like, I didn't get there. What can I learn from it? Mm-hmm. Maybe your goal was too big in the time frame that you set. I don't know. Maybe your actions were too small in the time frame that you had. But you need understand what happens there. Clarity brings a whole new level of belief system, enhanced belief system, because 2 things. Number 1, you know how to improve it if you didn't hit it. Number 2, when you do hit it, your belief enhances, man. But you are robbing yourself from that ability to freaking learn or celebrate if you don't get specific. Yeah. Okay, so hopefully we've drilled that in enough. Get specific, right? So now,
real quick, can we give an example of that?
Of what?
Of getting specific.
With a target?
Yeah, let's get really specific.
Yeah.
Because this is where I think a lot of people get lost, man.
Yeah.
That's why I want to hone on it. I really think this is where a lot of people get lost. For example, I have a goal. Correct me.
Okay.
My goal is to be financially free.
Okay.
Get physically healthy, and make Courtney as happy as she can be.
Okay, yeah. So all vague, right?
All
aspirations.
Vague. All aspirations. These are 3 things I want to do.
Okay.
So let's break these
Financially
down.
Free. What does that mean?
What does that mean? It's breaking down, so figuring out a number there.
Yeah.
So what that means, let's say for me, for this example, I want $5 million in my account.
Sweet.
So that's my goal.
That is a measurable target.
That's a measurable goal.
Right? $5 million. Now, if you were to say, I want $5 million in your account, I would say, help me understand how that being in your account really get you there?
Right. That's the next question. But to take it, this is just an example, right?
Yes.
So, but to take it that next, you have to have, so now your goal isn't financial freedom. Your goal is to have $5 million in the account because that equals financial freedom.
Yeah. To you. But in reality, it's not. I just want to be very clear.
Right.
Because where should that $5 million be?
In assets.
Yes.
In multifamily.
You want to take this active
100%.
income, turn it into passive income backed by a hard asset, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's true financial freedom. Once again, passive income coming in. But that's a target.
Right.
Health-wise.
I want to get healthy. Let's say I want to lose 50 pounds this year.
Okay, that's a target.
Now that's the goal. It's not to get healthy. It's to lose the 50 pounds.
Yeah, that's a target.
That's the target.
Now you're going to break that even way farther down to the behaviors. You're going to set a target, and then you're going to focus more on your behaviors, right?
Right.
So you're going to set this long-term target, but hyper-focused on short-term actionable behaviors, right?
Totally. Okay, now let's dive into those behaviors.
Okay, so a lot of people, once again, good at defining the goal, but you need to be able to understand how to define the behavior. There are 3 elements of behavior change. Listen, if you're trying to create a habit, you need to be able to understand how to change your behaviors to accomplish the habit. Because a habit, what I've found is that bad habits are easier to form and good habits are harder to form. Yeah. That's on purpose, man. So, but there's also reasons and whys behind that. Okay, so there are 3 elements to behavior change that you need to understand. Let's start with number 1, okay, which is what most people think is the problem. And what I mean by this is you need these 3 things to be able to change behavior to create a habit. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so number 1 is motivation. You need motivation, the desire to actually do the behavior. Okay, so let's say that the behavior to get to your financial goal is to call X amount of investors or call X amount of brokers, but you don't have that motivation, that desire to do those things. Well, why wouldn't you have the desire to do those things that are going to get you to your outcome? Probably because your outcome is abstract instead of definite.
Yep.
Abstract instead of measurable, right? But there's one more element to that I want to hone in. If your motivation is lacking, or you find that lacking, which is most of you, I believe that this is not the problem. Once again, most people think this is where the problem lies. It's not, dude. It's not. But you should tie a why, an actual why, to every measurable goal you have. Like, for example, let's look at a financial goal. Why would you want to make, or why would you want to have $5 million in assets, as an example? What's the why behind that? What does that do for you?
Well, that could do a lot of things for me. Comfort.
Okay.
Security.
Okay.
Being able to help others. Being in a position to serve and give back.
And that, so it needs to transcend self. And
Totally.
I know you.
Yeah.
I don't think you give a shit about comfort. I think that, well, you do. Everyone cares about comfort. But I know what motivates you more because I know you as a person.
Yeah.
And right before this, we were talking about being in a position to
serve
and help other people.
Help other people.
That allows you to do that at a higher level, right?
Totally.
So that's this why that you attach to it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But motivation, once again, man, it's not the hard part, which brings me to number 2. But listen, I'll give you this example. Brittany asked me. I love Brittany. Dude, so damn much. Brittany does so much for me. I want to be able to give back and help Brittany. She asked me, Tyler, will you swing by the store and grab some cumin? Absolutely, Britt. I'll absolutely do it. Thanks, Tyler. I need it for a meal that I'm going to be preparing.
Sweet.
Awesome. Well, my motivation is high to go and do that. And understand that motivation comes from within each person, okay? You can be motivated by a benefit, or you can be motivated by a punishment. For example, taxes have both elements there.
Yeah.
Benefit is you don't get, well, benefit is it's all done. Maybe you get a refund, right?
Yeah.
And that you're in the clear, you peace of mind. Punishment is, and understand how they work hand in hand. Punishment is, well, you're going to pay fees. You're going to pay fines if you don't get them done. You're going to get your ass thrown in jail by the IRS. You're going to get all these things.
Accounts seized.
Yeah. That's the punishment side. Yep. Once again, they work hand in hand. Well, Brittany, the punishment for me with Brittany would be I will let her down. That's big. Yeah. But the motivation is love. I love her. My motivation is high.
Yeah.
But listen, this brings us to number 2. Because even though my motivation was high, well, let's tie in number 2, which is what I was lacking in the beginning, which is number 2 is ability. So number 1 is motivation. So once again, how do we change behavior? Behavior change. Okay. Number 1 is motivation. Most of y'all already have that, though. You want to accomplish big things. Okay. Number 2 is your ability to do those big things. The capacity to actually do the behavior. So do I even know what the hell cumin is? I honestly thought that it was a sexual thing. And it is. That's for another podcast. But it's also, apparently...
The Growthcast After Hours.
Yes. Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Oh, my gosh. But seriously, so to ability, like, I don't even know what cumin is. And understand this. The easier this behavior that you're needing to create, the more likely it is that it will become a habit. The harder the behavior, the less likely you are to do that behavior. Which once again will tie into number 3. So what do I need to do? First off, I need to figure out what the hell cumin is. And then if I'm going to the store, where do I even find this?
Yeah.
Is it a product? Is it a spice? Which, by the way, it is a spice apparently. But ability, dude. I can have massive amounts of motivation, but if I do not have the ability, well, then that's a problem.
Right.
Now, motivation can be enhanced. Can ability be enhanced?
Absolutely.
So what did I do, man? I figured out what cumin is.
Yeah. You hit the Google.
Googled it. And then I find out where in the hell it would even be located in the store. Then at the store, maybe I'm in the spice aisle, and I'm there, but I can't find it. Maybe I find somebody to help me. But listen, the problem is, which ties into number 3, is my motivation was high, right?
Yep.
I had 4 days, but so 4 days of high motivation. Definitely able. I'm definitely able to do this, okay? But I was lacking the most important element, which is number 3, okay? Which is number 3. Now listen to me. For 4 days, I have this motivation, this ability, and for 4 days I come home with, I wasn't cumin, had no cumin. Had no cumin. Why though, dude?
Empty
Why?
letter.
I had researched it. I enhanced my ability. But number 3 is the most important, which is a prompt, okay? So listen, you have motivation. Most people that think that that's where the problem is, it's not. You have ability. Okay, maybe you need to enhance your ability, but really number 3 is probably the most important, man, which is your prompt to do the behavior. This cue to do the behavior. Listen, no behavior happens without a prompt. No behavior happens without a prompt, right?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So you need a prompt.
Yeah.
No prompt, no behavior. What was my prompt? What was my prompt to go get the cumin? Zero prompt.
Zero prompt.
There was maybe a conversation in the morning, each morning. And remember the cumin. Of course I will remember the cumin.
Right.
But then next thing I know, it's end of the day, and I find myself at home, and Britt's like, where's the cumin? I was like, son of a bitch.
Forgot the cumin.
Because I had no prompt.
Right.
Think about the phone, right? Let's say, who's somebody that you would be so freaking pumped, bro, to get a phone call from besides me?
Courtney.
No, think bigger.
Oh, that'd be okay.
No, impossible. You're supposed to say impossible. Oh my gosh, you almost went down a slippery slope. Think bigger than Brittany or than Courtney. Yeah. Nobody should have a higher priority than Courtney.
Yeah. That'd be who I'm most excited to get a phone call from.
But
for sure.
second behind Courtney.
If Shaquille O'Neal called me, I would lose my mind.
Okay, let's say that I've arranged a little birthday. It's your birthday, and I've arranged with Shaq. Me and Shaq used to play ball back in the day.
Sure.
In my mind.
Yeah.
And I've arranged a call for you, dude. You want to answer that mother F.
Yeah.
Maybe I even let you know that
He's calling.
Yep. But if your phone doesn't ring.
I'm not answering.
There's no prompt.
Yeah.
You're not answering. Why? Because you don't remember or you don't even know to do your motivation is high. Your ability to answer your phone is high. But there's no prompt to help you understand that you need to answer the phone right now. And that's where people typically fall off. It's not lack of motivation. It's not this level of motivation it's this or ability. It's that you didn't hear it. You didn't do it. There's no prompt. It's the same thing that ties in to your goals, right? You need some sort of a prompt.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's get deeper into this.
Let's do it.
Your prompts. Do you have a prompt? Do you have a prompt? Like, think for your goals, right? First off, have you, just retroactive here, have you defined an outcome, or is it just an aspiration? Do you have motivation? Did you tie a why into it? Hopefully you did. Do you have the ability? Okay. And is there a prompt? Let's go through, though, some troubleshooting, right?
Yeah.
Let's say that you've set this, your habits are not in motion the way that you need them to be. Ask better questions, right?
It's we harp on that so much here.
Okay, so what are some better questions they could be asking at this point?
It's almost like a follow-up. You have to reverse engineer it to make sure that those things that you're doing are working.
Yeah.
You know, so asking what is the prompt?
Yeah, is there a prompt?
Is there a prompt? What's that prompt?
Love it.
Another one, do I have that ability?
Love it.
And am I motivated?
Okay. Literally, you ask those questions. That's your troubleshooting process. Okay, let's start with number one, okay? We need to make it, let's start with motivated. I'm not even going to go there because you're probably motivated. Okay, yeah. I'd imagine you are. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Let's go to ability.
You're motivated because you set it as a goal. If you set it as a goal, there's got to be some motivation.
There has to be.
Yeah, there's got to, like, you don't just set a goal to set a goal.
That's it.
You got to need it.
There has to be.
Yeah.
Remind yourself of it often. Okay, now you need to create this behavior habit, this habit though, right? How do you do that? Let's enhance ability. So how do we enhance ability first? Well, number one, increase your skills, man. Once again, when you're better at something, it's easier to do, right? So by gaining skills, knowledge, expertise, you make it easier to take the action necessary. So for example, you're on a vegan diet right now.
Yeah.
Bro, and I feel like every time I'm with you, I'm like, oh shit, you can't eat that?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But how did you know that you can or cannot eat it?
I had to do some research.
You enhance your skills.
Yeah.
And does that make it easier for you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
You have to turn up by really doing that. It turns up the volume on ability.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what you can and cannot. It's impressive to me, bro.
Yeah.
But it's because it just didn't just happen. Your habit is something that you have stuck to. Once again, it's not an easy thing, man.
No.
Because you're changing up your eating habits. Bro, it's not an easy thing. Can I eat this? Can I not eat this? Okay. But what we did is you studied, right? You enhanced your ability. You increased your ability. Then number two is get tools and resources. What are tools and resources you use to help you maintain the habit of this behavior, if you will, of eating a vegan lifestyle?
What do I do to maintain that?
Tools and resources.
Yeah. I talk about it with the people around me.
I like
accountability.
That, dude. Yes, I like that.
It's a huge thing for me.
Bro, write that down. I love that. That wasn't where I thought you would go with that, but I freaking love that.
So that I tell everybody about it. So now I'm holding myself accountable to it. You know what I mean? I don't want to look like a fool eating a steak when I just said I was vegan. So that helps me for real.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
That's where I've been failing, I feel like. Well, actually, you know what I've been failing with my health stuff? I went gangbusters.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of got lax with it during the weddings, and then I've just been on and off.
Yeah.
But do you guys know what?
We haven't talked. When was the last time we talked about it?
A long time.
It's been a minute.
And do you even know what my clear, definite eating habit is right now?
No.
No, because I haven't mentioned it.
Yeah.
Nor have I defined it. I had it when I was working with freaking Michael Chrysler.
Yeah.
Yeah, no gummy bears. Actually, I had a couple of gummy bears. Yeah. No ice cream. I had ice cream. I haven't defined it. So my behavior, and I haven't had people keeping me accountable, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I remember when we had the family over and you and I had started eating healthy with Michael Chrysler diet.
Uh-huh.
And we're like, I knew, bro. Is Jackson going to eat this shit?
I was watching your plate for sure.
And I was watching yours.
For sure.
Keep each other accountable.
But that's one of the things that I do for sure. Another tool and resource that I use to help remember those things is I've got great people in my circle.
Yeah.
Great people in my circle have taught me. Nico, right here behind me,
Who taught you?
me,
Mentors.
Yeah, who's mentored me through it for sure.
Great point, dude.
One
I love this too.
One of the very first things that when I decided was she was like one of the very first people I talked to because I knew I needed some help.
Nico's vegan. Nico's been eating vegan for how long, Nico?
Well, they don't like to label it, but like 8 or 10 years.
8 or 10 years.
For those of you that couldn't hear her, she said, "I don't like to put a number on it or label it, but it's been about 8 or 10 years."
So that's great. It's a mentor.
Yeah.
It's a mentor who lives that type of lifestyle and can help you do the same, right?
Yeah.
It's no different in anything that you're doing. Who are your mentors on the goals that you have?
Yeah.
What is your goal? Is it clear? And then who's your mentors on there? What tools and resources can you use to help you get there? Okay. So that's number 2. Number 3 is, and this was huge, man. There's these last 2 I believe are I believe very overlooked, okay? But ones that have been huge for me in creating habits that are lasting habits, okay? But we have to start to be able to gain momentum. You have to gain momentum to keep momentum, okay?
Yeah.
So number 3 is to make the behavior tiny. We call it a starter step, okay? Make the behavior tiny, a starter step, which acts as a prompt, by the way. Your starter step is a prompt. So for example, let's say that I want to write in my journal. And I do want to write in my journal every single morning. My starter step to that is the night before. Like, listen, the night before, my starter step is to open my journal, set it on my kitchen island. No, in my kitchen.
Okay, yep.
What do you call it? Counter.
Whatever.
The area where you eat food on. Not a table, but the counter, the island. You get it. I set it on there, open, with my pens on top.
Ready to go.
But here's what's cool. When I do that, what else am I going to do? My evening routine, which is part of the ways of winning in the morning is winning the evening.
Absolutely.
And so then I write down my stuff in the evening, right? And then I maybe set a couple targets for the next day. So if I've started it too, so I'm not going to write down all my gratitudes. I'm not going to write down all my targets for the day. I'm just going to write down one target.
Yeah.
A starter step. A starter step could be write it down. A starter step could just be to have it open with the pens on top. That's a starter step. Let's say I want to walk a mile. Okay, well, a starter step would be put your shoes by the door and just put your shoes on. A starter step to go to the gym every morning. How tired are you to go to the gym every morning?
Oh my gosh, dude. You think it gets easier, but it doesn't get easier. You're tired, bro. At 4 a.m.'s early.
You're
tired.
Just is.
Every time.
So what's my starter step? I set my clothes out, bro. I have like a chair in our room there. So that's easy. Then I wash my face, brush my teeth. That wakes me up. But then the next step, dude, put my clothes on. Because if I have my gym clothes on, I'm going to go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to the gym.
Yep.
That's a starter step, right? Starter step. Anything to add on that?
They're very powerful.
Yeah.
They're very powerful, especially when you're intentional with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not just throwing your clothes on the bed so they're there for you in the morning.
Yeah.
It's being intentional with it. It's being intentional. Like, I'm doing this now so I'm prepared tomorrow. Yeah,
That's
it's that's really all I'd like to add there.
I'll give you an example on the real estate space.
Yeah.
Let's say that your definite goal is to raise $5 million. Okay, that is a trackable goal. Now let's bring this down. Do you have the motivation? Yes. Do you have the ability? You sure do, man. You sure? Are you alive? Then you have the ability. Do you network? Okay, but how do you do that? Well, you're going to make phone calls. Okay, let's say that you want to call, your behavior that you're trying to create is you want to call and or talk to 10 people a day. Your starter step the night before or the morning of could just be, you're not going to start calling. Literally, you're just going to list out who you're going to call or where you're going to go to talk to people. That's a starter step. Mm-hmm. Maybe you need to talk to brokers to get deals. Your starter step is just listing out the brokers. Yeah. That's a starter step. If you have them listed out, the chances of you calling are so much higher.
Yep.
So much higher. That's a starter step. Okay. And then number 4 is to scale back. We set these big goals, big goals. And then we try to change the behavior, but we try to start with a big behavior. Okay, scale back. Let's go to this example of walking a mile. Let's say or running a mile. Let's say I want to run a mile every day. Well, if that's going to be super challenging for you, maybe that's not what you do. Maybe your scale back target is you just walk. You have a starter step first off to put your shoes on. Then all you're going to do is walk to the mailbox. That's it. You walk to the mailbox. Now, maybe you go farther. Maybe you don't. But if you don't go farther, don't beat yourself up because your goal is to go to the mailbox. The next day is to go, farther than the mailbox. Then you go. Then you actually get up to walking a mile. Then you get up to running half a mile, walking the other half. Then you get up to, once again, eventually you're going to run a mile, but you break it down into chunks, actionable chunks. And the key is mental. The key is to not beat yourself up that you didn't run a mile day one.
Yeah.
The key is to celebrate. Listen, celebrate when you did this scaled back version, because you know that short-term thing, action, hyper-focused on the shorter, smaller action is going to lead to a grander, bigger result. You know this. You've chunked it down, right? Yeah. Anything above and beyond that isn't the expectation. Now it's dude, you went above and beyond. Now you celebrate even more, right?
Yeah.
Mentally, dude, I'm just telling you, mentally that will help you create habits.
Can I add something right there?
Yeah, please.
That is something that I don't think a lot of, the people that I surround myself with are very, like the people that I have in my circle are very high level individuals, and I don't see them celebrating their wins enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it ends up being a detriment because you don't ever, it's hard to remember and you don't ever see yourself actually winning. Even though it's a small win, remembering and feeling that sense of winning and accomplishing something is massive.
Massive.
Because that's going to remotivate you, reinvigorate you to get to that next win, to get to that next step, to get to that next thing. So I know I don't do it enough. I've been hitting milestones in my personal goals, and I haven't celebrated them.
Yeah.
You know, eventually you start to get upset with not upset with the goal, but you start to have a little bit of resentment of like, man, I'm doing it and I'm getting there, but I never really stopped to celebrate. You have to stop and celebrate and recognize yourself. It's an important thing for sure.
That's a great actionable for every single person, man, is to it's very rare that we achieve more than we feel worthy of achieving.
Yeah.
Especially for the long run.
Yeah.
Like you might get lucky and make some money, but you can't get lucky and create wealth. How do you create wealth in this example? You create wealth, and it's very rare that you're ever going to achieve a certain amount of wealth if you don't feel worthy of that. How do you feel worthy of that? Dude, by doing what we're talking about. Taking small steps consistently, that's the key, consistently, and then celebrating and recognizing them. Yep. You got to recognize them. Like in the journal, it gives you a spot. And listen, here's a real good internal reflection for all of you. A number of you are in the network. A number of you have the journal. So do you use the journal? Do you? And if you use the journal, do you use the journal in its entirety? Do you track your wins? Do you? Because if not, you are robbing yourself of the goal, the definite goal that you've put down. Yeah. Why? Because you're not willing to do the small things. But the small things are what lead to the big things. I'm going to repeat that. The small things are what lead to the big things. Tracking the wins leads to the big thing. Scaling back leads to the big thing. Starter steps lead to the big thing. We skip the small things because they're so easy to skip, which is why we never get to the big things that we desire. And one of the biggest things you can do, man, is recognize it. Because then what do? You're identifying and being like, yeah, no, I deserve this new version of me because I'm doing the things necessary to get me to there. Does it make sense?
And it absolutely makes sense. Yeah. Just to add one last thing on there, then it gives you an opportunity as well to set an intentional next goal.
Yeah.
To push that bar even higher. Reminds me of the conversation we had with Andrew and Jay when we were in Orlando.
Yeah.
Andrew was talking about how he always sets the bar super high for himself. But before he can even get to the bar to celebrate that he hit the bar, he's already pushing the bar higher for himself.
Yep.
And I see that happen.
Do that.
I see that happen so often. I do that. You do. I mean, I've seen all of us do that. But you got to get to the bar. You got to celebrate and then push that bar higher.
And then there's the other end of this. There's the other end of this where people will celebrate too much.
Yeah.
Right? So it's this fine line. It's like people will spend way too much time in the celebration when you're like, hey, bro, that was it's next. Now it's what's next. Yep. It's like, no, do you celebrate, but don't spend too much time celebrating. but you got to celebrate, right?
Absolutely.
It's this fickle little thing. So, man, listen, those things that we just defined for you, I'm just telling you, if you really internalize them and do them, they're simple. Think about the things we just talked about, dude.
They're not crazy hard things.
You set a definite goal. Once again, a definite one instead of an aspiration. A definite one, something that's measurable. And understand the 3 elements of behavior change. Once again, motivation's one of them. I would imagine you're motivated, but make sure that you have a why attached to the goal, that you can remind yourself all the time of why you're putting in the work, why you're doing things that are making you uncomfortable. Number 2, the ability. You need to understand, why are you going to invest time, effort, energy, money in enhancing your ability? That's because you're trying to get to this definite outcome. And then number 3 is, what is the prompt, right? What is that prompt that is going to continue to prompt you to do the things, the behaviors that you're looking to do? What are those things? And then maybe take this big goal, scale it back to a smaller goal, and then incrementally increase. Starter step. What's your starter step? Your starter step, once again, is that prompt. What is that prompt? What is it, right? What is that? Define it. And then number 1 thing, though, I need you to understand is, we create habits. We achieve goals. Let's reverse engineer this. We achieve goals, surpass goals, by developing proper habits that get us on the trajectory. We develop proper habits by identifying what those habits should be, what those behaviors should be, and we actually make those behaviors a habit by feeling good, man. By feeling good. There's no amount of time to create a habit. It's a matter of, like, are you actually celebrating yourself, this win, celebrating the wins to help you feel good? That's how you create a habit. Make sure that you have something in line with making sure that you feel good. A smartphone, I use this example all the time. I could give you a smartphone. If you've never had a smartphone, you'll create a habit on that smartphone in 5 freaking seconds, because that entire phone is designed to make you feel good, important, all of it. Do the same thing within your own life, man. Take control of your life and structure life. And the Hawaiian value ties right into this, man. And I want to give a shout out, Kate, to Kalani. Kalani attended our event in Honolulu, our 3-day event. And then he sent me a message on IG with a video to watch. And I absolutely loved it. I loved it. Okay, so the value that we had put in here is ho'ohana. Now, ho'ohana is doing meaningful work, like putting in work that brings meaning into our lives. But I want to talk about these goals and tie in ho'ohana or even ohana. See, a lot of the times people think ohana. So hana, let's break this down. Hana means work. That's what it means. Work. Well, when I think of something work, like when you go to work, you work and then you finish work.
Yeah.
But when I look at ho'ohana, it's not something that you just start and finish. So, hana. I'm learning this from the video he sent. Hana. Is eternal. It's eternal. Let's let that sink in. Eternal work. It's never going to stop. Growth doesn't stop unless you have a short, limited perspective on your growth. Growth should be eternal. So ho'ohana, meaningful, eternal work. Meaningful, eternal work, right? Ho'ohana, understanding that this growth process doesn't stop. It's eternal work. That's powerful. It's powerful, dude. And when you do that, when you really identify that and understand, then you're not looking for some destination, which is what derails so many people, man, that are looking at a destination. And I told you to define a destination. You need to know, but you need to understand that's not really the destination. No. That is a mile marker on the journey. Yep. And then what do? I told you to define it, but then bring it down and get hyper-focused on these behaviors. Why? Because the behaviors are the ho'ohana, eternal work that you're going to be freaking dialing in all the time to far surpass any goal or target that you ever set. Focus on the behaviors, and you'll far surpass any goal or target that you ever set.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just to add on to that, we talked a lot about creating those habits that stay in line with your goals. Habits aren't something that come and go.
Yeah.
If you want to set a habit to become that person that you want to become to achieve what you're trying to achieve, that habit is meant to stick around.
Yes.
It's not meant to be something. And that was a big perspective switch for me when I like my health stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Trying to get my
I saw
trying
that
to get
in
my
you, bro.
trying to get my weight right, dude. It's like it's not there's no end, there's not an end goal. You're becoming this individual that we use the example of $5 million of assets. You're becoming this individual to have $5 million worth of assets. Once you get there, it's not those habits don't just go away. I love Ho'ohana, and I love how you just explained that.
Thanks, man.
It's that work that's eternal.
Yeah.
Because that's what habits are.
That's it.
Putting them into you want to stay that person and become
That's
that
it.
person forever.
Dude,
So powerful.
I've seen that transformation in you, man. But listen, it's not how I defined it. Think about this. It's how Kalani gave me a resource to help me understand how to define it even deeper. That is valuable, man.
Very valuable.
And that's valuable. And you know what that also does? It enhances my perspective, which is my ability. Your perspective, your mindset is also in line with your ability. When you really have that, your ability increases. And once again, motivation, ability. Now you set a prompt, you're golden. So listen, I'm glad you like that. I loved it, dude.
Awesome.
I absolutely loved it. And y'all, Merry MF Christmas. No, MF Christmas. Merry effing Christmas. Melly effing Kaliki Maka. Y'all, hey, appreciate every single one of you. I hope you have the most amazing day with your kids, your family, your loved ones, and that you continue to grow day in, day out, all the time, eternally, and live always with aloha.
Peace.